What's going on, baseball fans? Happy Friday night. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Justin Turner. We're going to talk about Asdrubal Cabrera, Rich Hill, Mark Melanson, Jake Arrieta, Brad Miller, Brett Gardner. Let's get to it. And what's going on, everyone? How you doing? Hello, hello. A lot of familiar faces once again. Every night, a lot of you just keep on coming back. I love to see it. Love to see it. BZ Baseball. Brandon Streaker. Hello. Striker? Streaker? Whatever. Rocky Adams. What's going on? Gabe. Hello. Liam West. Andrew Lee. Alec. Hello. Abram Anderson. What's going on? How are we doing? I'm seeing a lot of others. David Knight, what's going on? Darton Jean Delatore, what is going on? How are we doing? Nahawan Sigran, hello. Hello, hello. Daniel Wells, hello. Welcome back. Ben Belier, what's going on? How are we doing? I think I'm getting everyone. There's Jackson. Jackson's here. Hello. Liliana Nora, what's going on? William Fulgham, hello. How are we doing? 89 people in the chat to start things off on a Friday night. Hope you all had a great week. I'm feeling wonderful because I have a 3-day weekend. No school on President's Day. I'm pretty happy. 3-day weekend. I don't even know what to do with myself. This is a little weird if you ask me. But as teachers, we have such a great schedule. I mean, I cannot complain. You know, there are so many teachers out there that love to just complain. They just find every single little thing to complain about. But here's me, and I'm just enjoying the fact that I get all this time off. I get summers off, Christmas off for 2 weeks. Spring break I got off in a month for a week. Thanksgiving we get a week off. I can't complain at all. And now I got a 3-day weekend. I'm pretty happy. And, surprisingly, we had a lot of stuff happen today. Not a lot of major moves, but a lot of smaller moves today. It kind of dawned on me a little earlier tonight. I'm kind of thinking, man, nothing major happening. And then I kind of started to look, and I'm like, we've actually had a lot of stuff happen today. And I wasn't even gonna go live tonight, but I figured this is too much to talk about. But then also, I want to kind of get into the fact that there are still a lot of players out there. There's a good amount of talent out there, and pitchers and catchers are reporting in now, 5 days? I mean, we're getting closer and closer. You still got guys like Jake Odorizzi out there, James Paxton. I mean, they got a lot of others out there, a lot of good arms, relief pitching, starting pitching. I mean, pitchers and catchers are reporting soon. I'm thinking you're probably gonna see these guys go somewhere this week. I would imagine you would. But, hey, we'll talk about it. We'll go take a look at what else is out there on the free agent market. We'll even talk some trades. Could we possibly maybe see a Chris Bryant trade sometime this week? Maybe Eugenio Suarez, something. Could we see the Mets maybe make one more upgrade? I don't know. We'll have to take a look. But everyone, before I get into everything tonight, if you are new here, I'm seeing 95 people in the chat. If there is one of you in here that has yet to subscribe and you are looking for more news and content in the baseball world, think about hitting that subscribe button. I'm pretty much going live every single night. As you can see, we are now at 5.8K subscribers. We are within 200 subscribers of 6K. The goal was to get to 6K by opening day. Could we get to 6K before pitchers and catchers even report? Could we get to 7K by opening day? How crazy would that be? But hit that subscribe button if you are looking for more news and content. Hit that like button for me, everyone. That's going to get this stream out to more baseball fans. And if you want to follow me on Twitter to talk some baseball throughout the day, I'm over there as well. So, alrighty, that's enough for the cheap plugs. Again, hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone had a good week. Hope everyone has some fun plans for the weekend. Whether or not that's doing something exciting or even just relaxing or whatever. I don't know. But here we go. Let's kind of just dive right in. Here we go. Justin Turner is first up. So as per reports tonight, Justin Turner has some offers out there. Very interesting. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Justin Turner. But let's get to it here. John Heyman with the tweet tonight. Here we go, sharing the screen. So according to John Heyman, star third baseman Justin Turner has multi-year offers from at least the Dodgers and the Brewers. His hometown Dodgers are naturally seen as the favorite, but Milwaukee is said to be hopeful. Mets, Jays, and Braves are among the others linked to Justin Turner, but seem less likely for now. I'll tell you right now, I would love to see Justin Turner with the Brewers. I think that would be a great upgrade. The Brewers, they need some offense. They were one of the worst offensive teams last year. I think you're going to see a bounce-back season from the Brewers this year offensively. I don't think you're going to see Yelich have those same struggles that he did this past season. I don't think you're going to see it. The Brewers overall, though, just not great. Let's actually pull up real quick. Tried to go on Fangraphs the other night, and it was not working. Haha, it's working now. Here we go. So let's go to the team rankings for 2020. Again, short season, but the Brewers, they had some great pitching. Really good pitching, both starting pitching and bullpen. If that offense was clicking a little bit, could you have maybe had seen the Brewers maybe take down the Dodgers in that wild card round? I don't know, but they just had no offense. But as we can see here, offensive runs above average, the Brewers, they were not good. Ranked 27th in offensive runs above average. That offense stunk. Not very good. If we go take a look at the WRC+, not good as well. Where are they at? They're 24th. They need some offense. Let's go look. Take a look. RBIs. Let's look at runs. How many runs did they even score last year? Again, right near the bottom, 26 in runs scored. So they really could use a guy like a Justin Turner at third. Also, I want to take a look real quick. What was the BABIP of the Brewers? So the Brewers, 22nd in BABIP, have a 278 on balls in play. I would expect that to be a bit better. So, you know, I don't know, like the Cubs last year, I mean, not a lot of balls fell into play for the Cubs. But, I don't know, could you see the Brewers maybe get better at that a little bit? I mean, looking at the Braves, look at the BABIP that they had last year. I mean, look at the Red Sox. They had a 321 BABIP, and the Red Sox stunk. But I think from the Brewers, I think you're going to see a better year. Justin Turner, I think, would be huge. I mean, of course, the guy has to stay on the field. He has dealt with those injuries, but the guy, he can still hit very well. If you take a look at what they have right now, their best players last year, I mean, Christian Yelich was able to get some home runs, but overall, he had the on base, but he just wasn't really clicking with the hits. He had a 259 BABIP, a little low. I would imagine that's definitely going to go up. You had Yorko, he was okay. I mean, Orlando Arcia, I mean, okay. I don't know. But right now, if we go take a look at what the Brewers got, depth chart wise, so they did just add Colton Wong. I was a pretty big fan of that signing. But as of right now, you got Urias over at third. So if we go take a look at what Urias was doing last year, Urias, where are you at? Am I just completely missing him, or what's going on? All right, whatever. We'll just go to these stats. So Urias, only 23 years old. But, mainly a second baseman, but he can play third as well. So, but last year, only hit 239. I don't know. I mean, not really showing too much in his career so far. His career is still young. Only 124 games so far. I mean, I definitely think there's more to see from him. But overall, you just haven't really seen much. I think Turner would be a huge upgrade for them. I could definitely see maybe the Brewers getting involved. But to me, I mean, the Dodgers, they still just seem to be the front runner. I mean, he's been big for that community. He's been big for that team. I mean, he's been just one of the cornerstones of that team for a while now. So Justin Turner would be very surprising. However, the one thing I do wonder with the Dodgers, you got Edwin Rios, who you could plug right in. Do they think, I don't know, maybe they could go make a trade for like a Chris Bryant? I don't know. I think that's less likely. But Justin Turner, I mean, I kind of thought for a while, I didn't know if the Dodgers were going to go through that luxury tax or not. Once they did with Trevor Bauer, okay, the floodgates are wide open. However, the one thing to take note of is if you go take a look right now at the payroll with the Dodgers. So if we take a look actually at the luxury tax rules. So this is one thing where I'm still kind of wondering a little bit. So there's one thing to take note of with the luxury tax. If you go above 40 million, okay, you're going to, so right now the line is 210 million. If you go above that line by 40 million, you're going to be subjecting yourself to falling back in the draft. You're going to get a bigger fine. So as it says right here, so beginning in 2018, clubs that are 40 million or more above the threshold shall have their highest selection in the next Rule 4 draft move back 10 places unless the pick falls in the top 6. In that case, the team will have its second highest selection move back 10 places instead. So now if we go take a look at what the Dodgers have right now payroll-wise, they're at 240 million. So I'm wondering, are they going to want to give up draft positioning for Justin Turner? If you're bringing him back for what? If you're bringing him back for at least 10 million, well, you're going to go 40 million over right there. So that's what I kind of wonder. I mean, you got a guy in Edwin Rios who could just play. I don't know. They don't really seem to want to just give him the full-time job yet, it seems. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see here. That's the only thing that's holding me back a little bit with this. They got some contracts coming off the book next offseason. So I don't know, but do they want to give up draft positioning? That's the big thing. So if you actually take a look here, clubs that exceed the threshold by 20 million to 40 million are also subject to a 12% surtax. Meanwhile, those who exceed it by more than 40 million are taxed at a 42.5% rate the first time. That's big, man. So if I were to do some quick math on my phone, so let's say right now the Dodgers brought him back for 2 years, 20 million at least, so 10 million per year. That would put their payroll up to 250. So right now, so that would put them 40 million. So if I do 40 million times 42.5%, okay, that's going to be a $17 million $17 million fine. That's what I'm wondering here. That's going to be, you're going to have to pay a huge fine, 17 million, right? That's a lot. You have to remember that because you're going to be, I think I'm reading this correctly. Again, if you go over 40 million, then you have to pay a 42.5% rate of how much you're over. So if you're over 40 million, you're going to have to pay 17 million in fines. You're going to lose positioning in the draft. Do the Dodgers want to do that? Yes, David, they can definitely afford it, but you got to kind of think about it though. Like, do you want to pay 17 million? I mean, if you bring back Turner for, let's say 2 years, 24 million, 12 million per year or something like that, I mean, then you're basically adding on 17 million to that. So you're basically paying Justin Turner at that point. You're basically paying him, 20 million per year. If you kind of look at it that way, and then you're going to lose positioning in the draft. So do the Dodgers want to do that? I don't know. I'm wondering. They have a guy in Edwin Rios that can just slide on in. I don't know, man. I think the Brewers. I watch out for the Brewers, man. I'm not going to be surprised if he goes back, but those are things to look out for in the Dodgers possibly not bringing him back. If they bring him back, most likely he is going, unless they can bring him back under 10 million. I don't know. Is he going to come back for less than 10 million per year? I don't know. If you bring 8 million, I don't think he's going to do 8 million. Does he do 8 million? I don't know. I don't know what he's going to end up getting. But if you bring him back for more than 10, you're going to have to pay a $17 million fine, and you're going to lose a good amount of positioning in the draft. Is that really worth it for a Justin Turner who's 36 years old? I don't know. And he hasn't really been able to stay healthy. To me, I don't know. I don't know if that's worth it or not. I mean, good thing I'm not a general manager because I wouldn't know what to do. So, because obviously I know there's a lot of good things that Turner brings to the team, but I don't know. So, have to wait and see. definitely do not count out the Brewers. They need the offense. The Brewers need the offense here. So we will have to keep an eye out for Justin Turner. But speaking of the Dodgers, so they actually did make a couple of moves today with a couple of guys in their bullpen. So taking a look here, we have a couple of trades. So let's get to the reports here. We had a bigger one for Adam Kolarek, and we had Dylan Floro on the move as well. So let's get to it here. Alrighty, sharing the screen. All right, so let's get to the Kolarek trade first. Dodgers and Athletics. Kolarek heading to the Athletics. So Noose is going back to the Dodgers. So as we can see, this was announced a little before noon today. But as of 11 o'clock today, this is according to Jeff Passan, the Athletics and Dodgers are in agreement on a trade that will send lefty Adam Kolarek and minor league outfielder Cody Thomas from LA to Oakland in exchange for infielder Sheldon Noose and minor league righty Gus Varland. So let's kind of take a look here. So Kolarek, he was pretty decent last year. I mean, honestly, the guy had 20 games last year. He had an ERA under 1. I mean, the FIP was higher. He had a 3.14 FIP, so he definitely got helped out in the field a little bit. Not a lot of strikeouts, but this is a submarine kind of side armor kind of a guy. He's had good numbers over the last, how many years now? Over his career, he has a 3.32 ERA, going back to his time with the Rays. I mean, not a ton of strikeouts from him, but he has been a solid arm in any bullpen he's really gone to. He had, in 2019... He had 80 games in 2019, a 3.27 ERA that year. FIP was a little higher, but he's been a pretty solid arm in middle relief. However, going back to the Dodgers, we'll just look at the main pieces here. So here we go. So let's take a look at Sheldon Noose going back to the Dodgers. So they got an infielder here. He can play some second. He can play some third. Only 26 years old. As of right now, he's only played 1 year, but hey, this is a guy, he can move around. He's going to give them some flexibility. In 2019, not really too much. 25 games, hit 250. Not really too much here. But a young guy that can move around. He's going to be a utility kind of player. Kind of replacing sort of like that Kike Hernandez kind of a player a little bit. So I think that's good. I think the Dodgers, they're going to have a pretty decent bullpen still, even without those guys. So let's actually take a look at the Dodgers bullpen. But for the Athletics, they're getting a solid arm for the bullpen. They need some arms for that bullpen, especially Liam Hendricks leaving town, going to Chicago. But as of right now, you still have a pretty decent bullpen. Kenley Jansen, I don't know, is Jansen finally going to lose that closer role this year? I don't know. I feel like Treinen could end up taking over that role. Brusdar Graterol, he's good. I think he's going to only keep getting better. Victor Gonzalez, you still got Joe Kelly in middle relief. Caleb Ferguson, I don't think he's going to be back this year. You got Mitch White out there. Tommy Kahnle's not going to be there. But they got Corey Knievel as well. Got Garrett Clevinger. They still got a lot of good arms in this bullpen. So, but the other guy that they ended up trading away was Dylan Floro. So this was announced today at 2:32. The Marlins are set to acquire right-handed reliever Dylan Floro from the Dodgers in exchange for lefty Alex Vesia and a prospect. So let's go take a look. So Dylan Floro, good year last year from him as well. He was pitching a lot in the playoffs. If we actually go take a look at the pitching from him in the postseason, he pitched in the World Series a few games. So gave up a couple of runs, a couple innings over that World Series, but hey, he was pitching all over that postseason this past year. 2018 as well. He was pitching a lot there. So, but Dylan Floro, I think, is a pretty decent arm. He had a really good year for the Dodgers this past year. It was a short season, but not a ton of strikeouts, but he doesn't walk a lot of guys, doesn't give up a lot of home runs. So these are a couple of middle relief guys for the Dodgers. So, and they got a couple of prospects in return. I think that's pretty good. But the Dodgers are also getting back Alex Vesia. So very interesting with him. He's only pitched 1 year so far. He pitched 5 games this year. He did terrible. But I know these numbers look horrible, but he does have the 10 strikeouts per 9. So maybe the Dodgers see something here with an Alex Vesia, but they can put him into that bullpen. I mean, again, they just traded away Kolarek, so hey, here's a lefty to take his place. But what's good about these trades is the is the Dodgers are getting some prospects out of it. They got Gus Varland, and they also got who was the other guy they got? They got Floro for Vesia and a prospect. Oh, okay, the prospect here is Kyle Hurt, 5th round pick in the 2020 draft. So, hey, adding some prospects with these deals, I don't hate it. But pretty notable trades because these guys are pretty decent out of that Dodgers bullpen. So, but I like it though. I like it for the A's, and I like it for the Marlins too. Brandon Kinsler's out of town, so Dylan Floro is going to come in, essentially take his place. And for the Athletics, they need some bullpen help as well. So I think this is good for both sides. But also, the Athletics are getting minor league outfielder in Cody Thomas as well. So overall, Thomas hasn't really done anything in the major leagues as of right now. But I don't know. He's kind of been okay in the minor leagues. He has some home runs. He can drive him some runs, but hasn't really panned out too well over the last few years. So sounds like a change of scenery kind of a thing. Maybe the Athletics can figure out something with him. The A's tend to do pretty good with these kind of players who are struggling, and they can kind of help these guys get turned around. So I have to wait and see. But I like it for the Dodgers. I like it for the A's. It fits some needs for both sides. So here we go. Moving on. We're going to stay out in the National League West, and the rival Padres made a move today, which I think is very interesting. Is this going to be the end of the Padres offseason, and does this mean that maybe Trevor Rosenthal is not going to come back? I mean, I think it's possible, but they did sign Mark Melancon today. Does this mean Trevor Rosenthal is not coming back? I definitely think it's still possible. I think they could always use another arm out in that bullpen. But let's pull up the story here. Here we go, sharing the screen. Okay. Padres assigned Mark Melancon. The Padres have agreed to a deal with free agent reliever Mark Melancon. This is according to Dennis Lin of The Athletic. The deal with Melancon will become official once he passes a physical. So as of right now, Melancon, he's turning 36. All-star closer. Melancon's been a really solid reliever in his career. This bullpen is pretty deep. So it wasn't the best bullpen last year. They brought over Rosenthal, and that kind of helped stabilize it a little bit. But it's another option for ninth inning work, joining Drew Pomeranz and Emilio Pagan as closer candidates. So that's the one thing, you don't really know who the closer is. I would imagine right now Drew Pomeranz could be that guy. Drew Pomeranz has been really good. But Melancon as well, he's been good as well. So let's actually go take a look at Mark Melancon. Oh, super chat coming in. Michael Yench, what is going on, my friend? How are we doing? Love the move that the Padres made today. Yeah, I think it's a solid move. Is this the end of their moves? I don't know, but I like it. We're taking a look at Mark Melancon right now. Michael Yench, thank you so much for the super chat. But here we go. 2.78 ERA this past year. Not a lot of strikeouts. You tend not. It's kind of like an Alex Colomé kind of a thing. Not a lot of strikeouts, but he gets the job done. He got 11 saves this year. So overall, he was very good. The FIP was a little high, 3.72. That was almost a run higher than the ERA. But I still think Mark Melancon is really good. 2019, he was really good. So the FIP in 2019 was awesome. Taking a look, 2.86 FIP. The strikeouts per nine kind of went down this year. His walks per nine increased. So, or actually, no, it didn't. I was only looking at half of it. So, yeah, never mind. I take that back. But the strikeouts per nine did go down. In 2019, it was 9 per nine. And then in 2020, it was 5.6. So, got to keep an eye on that. I'm wondering what's kind of happening with that. So, let's actually take a look. Let's see. Baseball Savant, what do you got on Mark Melancon? 158 people in the chat. Hope you're all doing well. Alrighty. Here we go. So Mark Melancon, the exit velocity didn't rank very well, but he did not give up a lot of hard hit balls. xWOB is good. The expected numbers were pretty much good all across the board. The batting average expected was a little low, but doesn't give up a lot of barrels. Again, the strikeouts were really down this year. Still not walking guys, but not really getting a lot of strikeouts, giving up a lot of contact. So I'm wondering if that's a good sign for him as a closer. I don't know. The velocity is not great, but the spin rate's still really good, so he still has good life. But he goes to the cutter a lot. So that's actually one thing where it doesn't really matter too much about the fastball, but the cutter is still, that's like his go-to guy. That's his go-to pitch. Spin rate on the curveball is still good. He still throws that a good amount. So I like it. I think Melancon is going to be a solid addition for this bullpen. It would be awesome if they could still bring back a Trevor Rosenthal. If we take a look right now, actually, let's do this. Here we go. If we take a look at the Padres depth chart real quick. Okay. So what we're working with in this bullpen right now, again, you got Drew Pomeranz, Emilio Pagan. Emilio Pagan never really fully got settled this past year. He was really good with the Rays a couple of years ago, so I'm expecting him to be a little better. But, you got some decent options in this bullpen. I think Ryan Weathers is going to step up and be a decent option. I mean, you got Matt Strahm. He was, let's see how he did. Overall, he did pretty good. 2.61 ERA over 19 games this year. Oh, Michael Yench again. We have a history of having the best closer in the NL, from Trevor Hoffman to this new guy. Hey, Mark Melancon, I think I'm curious to see what route they go with the closer role. Rosenthal really stabilized that for them last year. So, again, they could still bring Rosenthal back. I wonder if they do. But you still got a lot of good options in this bullpen. I just think they just got to make sure it's stabilized. I think Melancon's going to help stabilize that a little bit. But who's going to be the guy? Is it going to be a bullpen by committee kind of a thing, or are they going to go with one guy? That's going to be very interesting to see. So, but yeah, Mark Melancon going to the Padres. So, we're going to stay out in the National League. Man, we got a lot of news tonight, man. A lot of news. I got, 3 stories done, and we still got 5 to go, and then we still got to, talk a little bit about what else is left out there in free agency. So, all right, let's just keep on chugging away. We got a lot to do. Up next, staying in the National League, we have a pitcher returning to where this guy was so good with the Chicago Cubs, Jake Arrieta. A little surprised about this one, but in a way, I'm not surprised. Look at that beard, man. Jake Arrieta is one of the best beards in the game. This guy may not be the same picture he was, but man, that guy's got a great beard. But Jake Arrieta going back to the Cubs, I find this very interesting. I just wasn't expecting it. You're hearing Jake Arrieta, with the Mets a lot, but in the end, he's going back to the Cubs. So let's share the screen. Here we go. Okay, so Cubs agree to deal with Jake Arrieta. So this was actually tonight. This was one of the more recent stories. Arrieta is going to make $6 million pending a physical. So here we go. The Cubs are nearing a contract with their former ace, right-hander Jake Arrieta, John Heyman reports. So if we go take a look at the stats with Arrieta, and let's actually go take a look at the Cubs depth chart. Honestly, this is really just they're bringing this guy back because they need depth in that rotation. They got no guy. They need some guys. So I think there's still that even though the Cubs, they got rid of Darvish, I still think, and they could still get rid of Bryant, but I still think the Cubs could still be in contention this year. I'm not going to count the Cubs out, but Arrieta, at the end of the day, this is a depth kind of a move. So, because overall, this guy has just been trending down. He's been trending down ever since his days with the Cubs. But that's where he did last pitch. Really, his last good season was with the Cubs. So, can he go back there? Can he find that magic again? Does someone over there see something with him that's been going on? We'll have to wait and see. But the strikeouts have been going down. I mean, the walks and the home runs are still around the same. But he's just been giving up more hits. So, let's take a look. Here we go. Jake Arrieta, baseball savant. Here we go. All right, so taking a look at what Arrieta is still dishing out at age 34. Really, the only thing that's looking good with him is he's not walking a ton of guys, and he still has good spin rate on the curveball. The velocity's down. The spin rate there's no spin rate on the fastball. I don't know. He's going to do something with his pitch repertoire. What's he going to... I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. The sinker. Let's see actually how the sinker did this past year. the sinker for him was still doing good. He was still getting a lot of movement on his pitches, like good movement on the curveball. He was getting great movement on his changeup. So is he going to maybe, kind of alter the way he's been going at these guys, to kind of get himself back on track? I don't know. The slider didn't do very good this year. If we take a look at the run value for his pitches, that sinker was getting hit really hard this year. So I'm not sure what was going on with that. I don't know if he was just leaving it up a lot or whatever, but he's got to do something about that sinker. That run value is really bad. However, that slider was still working pretty well with him. And the changeup, as funny enough as that is, the changeup was moving really well, but the run value on it wasn't very good. It was kind of just in the middle. So I don't know. I still think Arrieta could still be okay. And I think this could end up being a kind of an underrated signing, but at the end of the day, this is going to be good for the Cubs. If they hang on to Kyle Hendricks, if they end up not trading him at this point, I feel like he's probably not going to get moved. I don't know. You're hearing some rumblings at some point. You got Zach Davies back in that trade. Alex Mills, whatever. But you still got Adbert Alzolay. Is Braylon Marquez going to come up? Now that you got Jake Arrieta, you got some depth. You got something to work with here. So, but at the end of the day, Jake Arrieta going back to the Cubs. Hey, feel good homecoming story. So Jake Arrieta, man, he was awesome with the Cubs winning that World Series. That guy was so good. Let me actually go look at those stats one more time. Good grief. 2015 when he won that Cy Young. Come on. This dude was so good, man. 22-6, a 2.35 FIP, under 6 hits per 9. Gosh, this guy was good, man. Hey, could Arrieta find that magic again? Probably not to that level, but could he be a solid pitcher again? We'll have to wait and see. But alrighty, moving on here. Okay. All right, we're going to move over to the American League now. And we had, actually, no, let's stay out in the National League. We have the Diamondbacks actually making a move. The Diamondbacks haven't done anything this offseason, but they finally did something, bringing in Asdrubal Cabrera. This is an interesting one for me. So, Asdrubal Cabrera, here we go, sharing the screen. Alrighty, here we go. Diamondbacks sign Asdrubal Cabrera. The Diamondbacks have signed infielder Asdrubal Cabrera to a 1-year, $1.75 million deal. Has about $1 million in incentives. Hey, cheap. But overall, with Cabrera, I know David Knight's in here. At least I think he is. So he's very familiar with Asdrubal Cabrera. But this guy was pretty solid. Overall, he had an on base of in 2019 with the Nationals. After going to the Nationals, this guy had an on base of 400. That's really good. But it kind of dipped. After that, it kind of dipped back down this past year. He was really good, man. Hit 323 with the Nationals down the stretch. That's awesome. Michael Yench coming through again. Cubs are not making the playoffs this year. That Central, man, it's so wide open. I don't know. I don't even know what. Right now, I think the popular pick is the Cardinals because they got Nolan Arenado. You just never know with that Central Division. I am wondering if the Cubs are going to end up taking a step back this year, but it's just so wide open, Michael, that I just, I don't know. Could they sneak in? We'll have to wait and see. It's also going to be interesting to see what they end up doing with Chris Bryant. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Asdrubal Cabrera going to the Diamondbacks, overall, this guy, I think he's a solid pickup. Going back to 2019 again, overall for the year, he had a 342 on base, he hit 260, OPS 783, had the 18 homers, 91 RBI. So he's not very far removed from a really good season. So really good season. If you go to 2018, 774 OPS, 23 home runs. So he's not very far removed. This year he had 8 homers, 31 RBIs. The OPS was around 750. I think this is a good move. If we go take a look, what are the Diamondbacks looking like right now? I'm telling you, with the Diamondbacks, hey, I thought this team was pretty good going into 2020. And they kind of just disappointed. It had a lot of guys just kind of falter, like Madison Bumgarner, Luke Weaver. But Zach Gallen was awesome. I had him on my fantasy team this year. I love me some Zach Gallen. He was good. But they did bring in Soria. So there was that. But they just haven't really done much else. Because there's not really much because I think they still have a solid team. But Cabrera, you're definitely going to see him kind of just move around. He's going to be kind of like that utility guy. So with Cabrera, let's take a look at the fielding. So taking a look here. Where is the fielding? Here we go. So as of last year, in 2020, so last year he was mainly playing the corners, first base, third, and DHing. In 2019, he played first, third, and second. So you're not going to see him play in the outfield. He's going to move around in the infield. He's going to play the corners, and he can play some second base. So, for the most part, with the Nationals, he played mostly second. So right now, in this past year, he played mostly first. So again, he's just he's going to move around. He's going to be like this bench guy. He can take over for Marte, here and there. As of right now, they got Varsho out in center. Now, could you maybe put Marte back out in center field, and then you could have Varsho? I don't know, what do you do with Varsho? I mean, I like Varsho, man. Diamondbacks would get blown out on opening day against my Padres. Yeah, probably. Oh, poor Diamondbacks. Hey, I'm telling you, don't sleep on the Diamondbacks this year. I think the Diamondbacks could be pretty good. But you could, it depends on what you want to do with Varsho. Could you put Marte back out in center? I don't know. If you did that, you could put Cabrera at second. So it depends. What do you want to do? Do you want to play Varsho or do you want to stick with Cabrera? So taking a look at Varsho, as of right now. So Varsho, not really too much from him with the bat, 188. So he's a catcher, but he's very athletic, so he can play, all over. In the minors, he was hitting really well in the minor leagues. So very interesting to see what they end up doing with him in the minors. Taking a look. In his career in the minors, hitting 300 over a few seasons, had some pop with the home runs. So very intrigued to see what they do. He's still very young. So I don't know. But I like Cabrera. I think he's going to be a good pickup for the Diamondbacks. He can move around. He can play some first, second, third. I like it. I like them bringing in Asdrubal Cabrera. All righty. We are chugging along here. Moving on to our next story. Moving on. Now, we are going to move over to the American League in my own division, the American League East. The Rays. Hey, the Rays, man. They're making these sneaky little pickups. They're adding depth any way they can to make up for the loss of Blake Snell. Bringing in, hey, I like this guy, Rich Hill. This guy was really good for the Red Sox when he was with the Red Sox a couple years ago. But Rich Hill going with the Rays. This is such a Rays kind of a move. Am I the only one that thinks that's such a Rays move? Here we go. Sharing the screen. Here we go. So this was actually another recent one too. So Hill, $2.5 million on a 1-year deal. So Rich Hill, when he went to the Twins, man, I was thinking, man, Rich Hill, 40 years old, but the guy is still just slinging the ball in there, just slinging it on in, man. But going back to Boston, man, 2015, I remember that when he pitched in 4 games with Boston, he was so good. 1.55 ERA. He was with Boston a couple other years before that. He had 25 games in 2012, 1.83 ERA. It just seems like anywhere he goes, he pitches well. The only problem he has, he just can't really stay on the field recently. So, he did pitch in 8 games this year, but he missed a few starts, but he was still pretty good. The guy's good, man. Look at the strikeout numbers per 9. He was good. I think if he is healthy, he's going to be a great fit for the Rays, man. He's going to be a good fit. I like it. I like this move for the Rays. I think it's a kind of a low-key kind of a signing, but the only problem with him is the health. But taking a look here, Hill's going to turn 41 in March, and although he was hardly outstanding during his first decade of his career, he has only gotten better with age, dating back to his stunning renaissance in 2015. That's when he was with the Red Sox. He only has around 90 miles an hour on the velocity. I mean, the guy just puts up good numbers overall. The only concern, this is what I was saying, is the durability. Various injuries have limited him, and he hasn't hit the 136 inning mark in a season since he revived his career. So if we actually go take a look here, Rich Hill, man, if he just stays healthy, I mean, good grief. Like this, he could be a really good signing. Here we go, Rich Hill. Baseball savant. I'm sure these are going to be decent numbers, I would imagine. Oh, okay. Actually, a lot of these are down a little bit. But here we go. But the exit velocity and the hard hit percentage are still pretty good. The expected number is not great. Not a lot of fastball velocity, but that's fine. He's throwing from the left-hand side. Got a lot of spin rate still on the fastball. Oh, Super Chat coming in. Oh, David Knight. What's up, my friend? Rich Hill has the best agent ever. Will be 41, injury prone, still getting a couple $1,000,000. I mean, you can't beat that. You can't beat it. But Rich Hill, he definitely has helped himself out over the past. I mean, the guy, even though he can't really stay on the field, he's been putting up these great numbers for the last 5 or 6 years. But, you know, a lot of this is due to the fact he doesn't give up a lot of hard hit balls, doesn't give up a lot of exit velocity. The spin rate on the fastball is still really good. Curveball spin rate's really good. I don't know why I'm getting so excited over this move. I just like Rich Hill. Rich Hill is just a guy, man. He's just a guy that just, he's just a, I don't know. I just like Rich Hill. You know, he just goes out there. It kind of reminds me of the movie The Rookie with Dennis Quaid. I remember when, man, I love that movie. It was so good. You want to go see a cheesy, good baseball movie? Go watch The Rookie with Dennis Quaid. Love me some Dennis Quaid. What's he doing these days? But, I don't know. I think of Rich Hill, man. He kind of just turned his career around. You know, completely different stories. But you see where I'm getting at. But, I mean, Rich Hill, man. Hey, if he's healthy, this is going to be a good addition for that Rays rotation. Let's go take a look at the Rays. Taking a look at the depth chart. Here we go. So right now, what they're working with, they've made some additions to this rotation. Tyler Glasnow, you still got Ryan Yarbrough. But then you kind of start getting into these other guys. Chris Archer going back to the Rays. Michael Wacha. You brought in Luis Patino. What's he going to end up doing? I think he could be a decent piece. And now you bring in Rich Hill. The thing with Rich Hill is you can kind of baby Rich Hill a little bit. You got these other guys who can give you innings. You know the Rays are going to go to their bullpen a lot. I think Rich Hill can end up being a really solid piece. I think if there's one team out there that can be good for Rich Hill, I think it's the Rays. I think it's a good fit overall. You know they're going to go to that bullpen really hard. They got a lot of depth in the minor leagues. They got guys who can just come up and just throw like 200 miles an hour. I mean, Rich Hill, I think this is a good spot for him. But that is what is going on with the Rays. Again, it was, like you said, David Knight, $2.5 million. Not bad at 41 years old. And he's probably going to pitch like, 100 innings probably? Hopefully he can get to that point. Well, for my sake, as a Red Sox fan, I would hate to go up against Rich Hill again. Man, Rich Hill. Oh, Michael Yench, I'm seeing a super chat. That's going to pop up here in a second. Michael Yench, thank you so much for that. Here we go. So our next story, I'm going to wait for the super chat to come on in. Should be popping up. I don't know what's taking so long here. Here we go. Michael Yench, disagree. The best baseball movie is The Bad News Bears. I'll tell you, when they made the new one, I liked it. I liked it as a kid. I am forever going to be biased with my baseball movies. I'm always going to like Fever Pitch. Why? Because it was all about the Red Sox winning the World. Well, not all about the Red Sox winning the World Series, but it was all about that 2004 season. I'm biased. What can I say? I love that movie. Yeah, I did like The Rookie. I like The Bad News Bears, too. I thought that was pretty good. Michael Yench, again, you are going crazy with these super chats tonight. Thank you so much, my friend. You are awesome supporting the channel. Really appreciate that. All right. Woo! Moving along here. We got a lot of other things to talk about. Actually, no, not too much. Here we go. About a few more things here. Brad Miller going back to the Phillies, or at least it's close. So here we go. Brad Miller here. They're working on a deal. This is according to John Morosi. Brad Miller and the Phillies moving towards a 1-year deal. Here we go, sharing the screen. Alrighty, so it's going to be worth between $3 and $3.5 million. So here we go. MLB.com's John Paul Morosi reported Thursday night that the Phillies and Miller are working on a contract before spring training opens next week in Clearwater, Florida. Morosi said the 1-year deal could be between $3 and $3.5 million. If an agreement is reached, Miller, 31, will provide depth to the Phillies bench, particularly if MLB and MLBPA bring back the designated hitter before opening day, which remains a possibility. All right, what's going on with this designated hitter thing? I thought they were done with the designated hitter. Are they? This is still up in the air? I thought they said it's not. I thought they said it's not happening. Oh, Lincoln Jansen, man. I do love Moneyball. I hate that in Moneyball they leave out the fact that the Athletics had Miguel Tejada. They left out the fact they had Barry Zito, Tim Hudson, Mark Mulder. Like, oh, hello. Those are kind of big pieces on that team. I mean, was I the only one that noticed that? I mean, of course, I love the story. I mean, Brad Pitt. I mean, you throw Brad Pitt in any movie, it's going to be a good movie. But I did like that movie a lot. I just love how they made a movie so intense just about the analytics of the game. I thought that was just so funny, but so intriguing, and it just drew me in so well. But hello. They had a 3-headed monster in Barry Zito, Tim Hudson, and Mark Mulder. How do you not mention those guys in that movie? Don't tell me Scott Hatterberg was the reason that the Athletics were as good as they were that year. Don't tell me Scott Hatterberg was the guy, or trading away Jeremy Giambi was the reason you did that good. Stop it. Come on, how do you not even mention those 3 guys? Horrible. Michael Yench with another super chat. Man, Michael Yench, you're going crazy with the super chats. No DH in the NL. It ruined the strategy. Michael, I like the DH. I'm just a fan of it. I'm also biased. I had, David Ortiz growing up. He was the Red Sox designated hitter for years and years and years. So I am a little biased, but I just hate. There's that super chat coming in. Michael Yench, thank you so much. But just I do like the strategy part of it, but then I just think you know what? Pitchers, I want pitchers to pitch. That's just my personal opinion. Ever since I saw Chin-Meng Wang broke his foot, on the bases when he was running, that just ruined it for me, and I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. I like the DH personally, but I can understand the strategy behind it as well. But getting back to Brad Miller here, let's actually pull up the stats. Brad Miller, man, he's been pretty solid. Here we go. Baseball Reference. Okay, Brad Miller, only 31 years old still, but Brad Miller, man, going back to 2019 with the Phillies, hey, he's pretty good. Guy can move around. 2019, he's with the Indians and the Phillies, but overall that year hit 260, had the 13 homers, 25 RBIs. This is a guy that can move around. He's going to play multiple positions. He can play short, second, first. Let's actually take a look at exactly where he has played over the last few years. So 2020, stuck in the infield, or he stuck mostly to infield. He did DH a bit. 2019, he played outfield in 2019. So the guy can move around, man. He can play anywhere. I think it's going to be good for the Phillies. So, hey, good pickup. I think Brad Miller was going to be a good addition for any team. So, I like it. Brad Miller going back to the Phillies. He only played that 1/2 season with the Phillies. So, hey, I like it. Going back there, he did pretty well there. So, Brad Miller to the Phillies, everyone. Here we go. Alrighty, our last story here. What is going on? And hey, we could, since we're on the Phillies could be involved in this as well. What is going on with Brett Gardner? What the heck is going on? Are the Yankees and Gardner talking, or are they not talking? So there were reports this past week that the Yankees and Gardner hadn't even talked. So I'm actually going to take this with a grain of salt, because this guy, Jim Bowden, man, I don't know about this guy, man. I don't know about this guy. Sharing the screen. Jim Bowden, to me, has just never been a reliable guy. I'm sorry, Jim Bowden, but I'm going to go on a little rant for a second here. I'm going to go on a little rant. Jim Bowden, where was this tweet you put out the other day? This one. Oh, come on. Like, okay, Jim Bowden. Stop it. Stop it. I mean, okay, am I mad about you giving the Red Sox a D in this trade? I mean, I'm not mad about the fact that you gave us a D. That's not what I'm mad about. I know you put early trade grades, but do you realize what, like, okay, so you put Betts, Bradley, Benintendi to Renfroe, Cordero, Verdugo, question mark. Hey, Jim Bowden. Hey, last time I checked, you flunked out as a general manager and you couldn't do it. Now you're working for what? MLB Network talking about baseball? Hey, you did a great job, Jim Bowden, as a general manager. Stick to what you're doing, just talking about it, because you don't know what you're even talking about. Stop it. I'm sorry, but like, it's just when you're just looking at it like that, when you're looking at it, Betts, Bradley, Benintendi to these three, it's like, yes, on paper, yes, it's obviously not great, but like, do you understand what the Red Sox are trying to do? Do you understand what they're what the goal of this organization is? Just Jim Bowden. I have followed Jim Bowden when he was with ESPN after he stunk as a general manager. He couldn't do a good job as a general manager. He ended up going to ESPN. Every time this guy was on ESPN, he was like, "Oh, I'm hearing about this, and I'm hearing about this rumor, and this could possibly happen." None of it happened, Jim. None of it happened. What do you never write about anything? Stick to your stupid tweets. You don't even know what the heck you're talking about. Stick to your stupid tweets, Jim Bowden. So getting back here. So I don't know, Jim, is this right either? Because you never write about anything, Jim. The Yankees have had contact with Brett Gardner throughout the season. How do you know this, Jim? Who knows if they sign him, but do they have interest in bringing him back at the right price point? I don't know. Jim, just stop it. Just get off Twitter. Just stop it. I don't know. You seem like a nice man. I have nothing against you personally, but God, you have just been wrong about so many things for years. I go back to like 2004, 2005, watching this guy on TV. He was wrong about like everything. He was like never right about anything. I don't know. What do I know? But Jim Bowden, he is saying they have had contact with Brett Gardner. So, I mean, I in a way, I kind of agree with it because, I mean, I would imagine the Yankees have at least like said something. I mean, Brett Gardner's been a lifetime Yankee. So I still think Gardner would be good to go back to the Yankees. I mean, he's not going to be the starting guy. Clint Frazier's the guy now. He would have to be a bench guy. But what are the other options out there for a Brett Gardner? What are the other options? Well, you got the Phillies, but okay. So here's the thing. With Brett Gardner. I know Brett Gardner can still play center field. I know this. I know he can play. I still know he can play a decent center field. I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of underestimating him a little bit, but he's 38 years old. Do I really want to? Jim is like Bob. I can't stand Jim Bowden. I mean, I don't know. Bob Nightingale, sure, he's had his moments, but Jim Bowden has just been consistently wrong for years about so many things. But Michael Yench, you're going crazy tonight, my friend. You are like the MVP tonight. Thank you so much for all the super chats tonight. Really appreciate that. But I don't know. When I think of Brett Gardner being my everyday center fielder, I don't know. I just think of Brett Gardner as like a fourth outfielder. And that's no disrespect to Brett Gardner. This guy has been a pain in our side, for years. So for the Red Sox, this guy's been a Red Sox killer. Hey, Brett Gardner, I've said this a couple of times. Come to Boston. We could maybe use another outfielder. I mean, we did just sign, we just brought in a couple of guys. But, I mean, hey, I think Brett Gardner could still be a fit with the Red Sox. Why not? But you could see him go to the Phillies. That's possible. I mean, there's some options out there for Brett Gardner. I think you're going to see him find something eventually. So, what's this guy saying? Randy Miller. Not true. They spoke on October 31st when Gardner's option wasn't picked up, and once in December when Cashman told Gardner camp to hold tight. As of 2 days ago, no other talks. Okay, so, he said throughout the offseason, And so I guess it depends on how you define throughout the offseason. Technically, this is like they have talked in the offseason. Once in December. So yeah, I mean, Jim Bowden makes it sound like they've been talking a lot more, but this guy, Randy Miller, he's saying they've really only talked like once. So Jim Bowden's making it sound like that they've had like a lot of conversations, while this guy is saying like, okay, they haven't really had that many conversations. So I don't know. Jim Bowden, you suck. I'm sorry, but like you have just been wrong about so many things. Whatever. Moving on, everyone. Moving on. But Brett Gardner, going to be interesting to see what he ends up doing. Does he go back to the Yankees? Could he maybe go to the Phillies? You got Joe Girardi there. They've played together for, well, he played under Joe Girardi for many years. Yeah, I don't know. There's some options out there. Going to be interesting to see what he does. So, before I get out of here tonight, everyone, we still got 146 people in the chat. Before I get to the last thing of the night, if you are new in here, you have yet to subscribe, you're looking for more baseball news and content, think about hitting the subscribe button. Everyone, before I get to the last story, hit that like button for me. Try and get some more people in here before the end of the stream, and that's going to help people get to the stream later on for those people that weren't able to make it. And go follow me on Twitter as well if you want to talk some baseball there throughout the day. But, so we have pitchers and catchers reporting this week. The offseason, a lot of ups and downs this offseason. Lots of ups and downs. So, but you still have a few guys out there. Like I said, you've had those ups and downs. You've had these big trades happen. You've had some exciting signings. The whole Trevor Bauer thing was just chaotic. You've had some cool trades. You've had the Nolan Arenado trade. That was huge. You had the Yu Darvish trade. You had the Blake Snell trade. The Padres were going crazy, bringing in Joe Musgrove as well. You had a lot of trades. The signings have been kind of spread out. So it's at times this offseason has felt very slow. It was the offseason of interest at one point. It just felt like nothing was happening. You had no winter meetings. So it was just like not a lot going on. But then when stuff was happening, it was hot. So, but we are starting to see a lot of guys come off the board now. As you just saw, I went through, like 20 guys right there, it felt like. But there are still some options out there. What is left? Well, you got Jake Odorizzi still out there. Jackie Bradley Jr. is still out there. James Paxton's still out there. Mitch Moreland, he can be a bat off the bench, play some first somewhere. He's still out there. Rick Porcello, I still think Porcello can be a serviceable pitcher. You still got Yasiel Puig out there. The guy hasn't played in like 2 years. And Chris Bryant, you could still see a Chris Bryant trade. So let's just go take a look. What exactly are we looking at here? Now, again, so let's go to these other free agents. There's a lot of other free agents here. I only just put these few pictures. But let's take a look, sharing the screen. All right, so if we take a look here, catchers. I mean, you still got Flowers. You still got Chirinos out there. I mean, you still got Wieters out there. I mean, you got some guys. Cabrera just signed, so he's off the board. But you got Moreland, Danny Santana, first base. I mean, for offensive players, there's not really a lot of options. We did see D. Gordon sign with the Reds, so that was that. They also just had Billy Hamilton sign with the Indians today. But again, Justin Turner. I should have put Turner on that little picture thing. I mean, Turner's the big one right now. I mean, one of the big ones. You still got Eric Sogard out there. Frazier's still out there. What's going on with him? I mean, you still got some guys. Shortstops are pretty much done. Like I was saying, Brett Gardner got a super chat coming in. Yes, Michael Yanks, Trevor Rosenthal is still out there. What's going to happen with him? He's one of the more interesting ones still. Brett Gardner, like I was just ranting, is still out there. Who knows if he goes back to the Yankees? Could he go to a team like the Phillies? Maybe even the Red Sox. That would be crazy. Probably not the Red Sox. But Braun, who knows what Braun's doing? Is he going to retire? Like, what's he doing? Jay Bruce, I mean, could he still be something? Didn't Kevin Pillar I thought Kevin Pillar just signed. Did I read that wrong? Didn't I see Kevin Pillar sign somewhere? Or was I just seeing things? Oh, no, he still hasn't signed. He's still out there. Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of someone else. So, Kevin Pillar is still out there. I mean, we also saw Jake Marisnick go to the Cubs. So Billy Hamilton, he's off the board now. You still got Cameron Maben. Like I said, you steal Puig. Naquin. Markakis, what's he doing? Josh Reddick is still out there. What's going on with Josh Reddick? You got a lot of stuff. Edwin Encarnacion.